Okay, today we're joined by Federico Duarte. He's the CEO of NXW, Nutrition from Water, and Norman Gierow. He's Director of Global Customer Marketing and Positioning at SIG Group. Together, they're going to share insights into the launch of Marine Whey, a new ocean-derived protein, and the packaging solutions that will help bring it to scale. This conversation is more about just an ingredient. It's about how innovation in nutrition and packaging can open access to affordable, sustainable protein worldwide. Gentlemen, welcome to Protein Production Technology International.
Thank you, Nick.
Glad to be here.
Now let's start at the top. In just one line, both of you, what are you announcing today, and why is now the right time to share it? Federico, do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. Today we're announcing a partnership between Nutrition from Water and SIG to tackle together affordable nutrition. And it is important because there is a lot happening in the biomass fermentation space. And we want to see more of that technology going into affordable nutrition applications. That's why it's urgent.
And did you have anything to add there, Norman?
No, not so much said, but indeed, what Federico said is very right. And we are, the packaging partner of that solution, and caring a lot for, any, beneficial solutions where aseptic packaging can help the nutrition and the industry. And we want to address the issues that the world has today, and we are happy that we can partner up with partners like NXW to bring the industry forward.
Mm-hmm. It's the first time I've known a partnership of this ilk in my 4 years editing this magazine. It leads to a question of impact. Who benefits first, in what countries, and why did you choose those markets as your entry point? Would you like to go first, Federico?
Yeah. Look, the problems around affordable nutrition shouldn't be new to any of us, right? There is a growing gap in dairy protein supply alone, while demand is only growing for that. So the problems are hidden in plain sight, if you want. I think the difference, or maybe the realization, is that a lot of the technologies that we are seeing in the novel protein space have focused on premium or performance applications. Not enough of them, in my personal opinion, have been focused on targeting that nutrition gap that you're seeing grow in the global south. There is definitely an opportunity in the performance nutrition space, but we at Nutrition from Water decided that we wanted to focus our energy in bridging that gap for affordable nutrition.
Mm-hmm. Norman?
No, exactly. The focus is exactly that. We want to close the gap that is, of course, especially in rapidly grown markets, economies, the highest, and where the need is the most for healthy and good nutrition, affordable nutrition, and there for sure we and together in aseptic packaging plus the very innovative food solution can help the industry. So that markets are in the highest needs.
Yeah. I mean, Federico, for readers who may not be familiar, could you explain a little bit about what Marine Whey actually is and how people should think about it? Is it best understood as a single ingredient or a broader platform or a whole family of products?
Yeah, it is a platform. A platform would be the right way to characterize it. At the core of this platform is a protein derived from chlorella microalgae, that we grow using biomass fermentation technologies, that we process using our proprietary DSP, and that we blend into different solutions that then go into applications, including UHT beverages, aseptic UHT beverages, like some of which we're working with Norman's team at SIG on, but also other applications across the confectionery space, the baked goods space, and you name it. So Marine Whey is a platform, and at the core of that platform is protein from micron.
Mm-hmm. Specifically, what makes it stand out compared with other algae-derived proteins in terms of factors like digestibility or even functionality?
Mm-hmm. Microalgae in general is known to have a pretty high level of digestibility and a great nutritional profile. It's complete from a branch in essential amino acids. And our DSP process, our downstream processing, does allow for some pretty good techno-functional performance. But I think what is at the core of what makes us different from our peers playing in other biomass fermentation categories or parts of the category is our approach to route to market. We are staunch believers on partnerships. We believe on the importance of bringing these technologies to the affordable market. And we believe in the importance of partnering with folks like SIG to actually change how these ingredients go to market. So what we're trying to do different at the core is taking a different approach for route to market for this biomass fermentation ingredients.
And of course, at the heart of this collaboration that we're announcing, it's packaging as well. So when consumers turn over the pack, what does a typical nutrition panel look like per serving, especially protein grams? And where are you today on PDCAS and digestible, indispensable amino acid scores?
Yeah, so our PDCAS is comparable to that of dairy. And in many applications, what we are trying to do is blend our protein with other sources of plant protein to increase the overall digestibility and PDCAS. So from that perspective, we're able to claim complete essential and branched amino acids for our products. There's not really one specific formulation or one specific product. We position ourselves as a flexible B2B ingredient and solution that can then go into different formulations. But to use an example, with Norman and his team, we're working on a pilot run where we are going to have a UHT treated beverage, where we will have 15 grams of protein on pack.
Of course, buyers, they also want assurance on standards. So what are you able to share regarding allergen status or non-GMO credentials, GRAS or halal or kosher certifications in the works?
Yeah. One of the reasons, Nick, why we started with the chlorella as our strain is because chlorella is recognized as a traditional food across many markets around the world. We know that we believe that the most important thing to do in order to grow this category is to build a category, to increase the awareness. So by choosing chlorella, we chose to go with a strain that has a very clear regulatory path, is approved for consumption in the United States, approved for consumption in Europe, and that allows us to go to market much faster. So that's really at the core of what made us choose that particular strain.
And when it comes to sensory qualities, how would you describe the taste, the aroma and colour, say in a ready-to-drink format? What steps have you taken to keep that profile as neutral as possible?
So for those of us who are not technical and fully aware of a process of strain development, we start with a wild-type chlorella. If you grow a wild-type chlorella in a fermenter, and dry it, you'll get a green powder that tastes like you just jump headfirst into the ocean. What we've done using mutagenesis is we've progressively gotten rid of certain of the phenotypes that create those green colors and those iodine or ocean taste, such that we get to a product that is off-white and flavor neutral. When we put it in formulation in inclusion levels of up to 10%, we're actually not really able to tell the difference between including that protein or a conventional protein, whether that's whey or some other source of plant protein. So we're pretty satisfied of the organoleptics that we have achieved, both from a color perspective, but also from a taste and aroma perspective, which are pretty neutral.
Let's talk about use cases now. What would be your first 3 lead applications, whether that's a yogurt-style drink or a protein beverage? And in each case, what does Marine Whey replace or supplement?
Good question. Our question is, what are the applications that make most sense in the affordable markets that we want to serve? So number one, aseptic beverages that can be shelf stable, that can be transported easily. That's one key applications, right? So UHT treated beverages. In those scenarios, Marine Whey complements either WPC 80 or for those brands doing already plant protein drinks, it would be something like pea protein or rice protein, depending on your markets where you are. That's one key application. we're also seeing marine whey perform pretty well in baked good applications. We've done a lot of work around ready to mix cake powders, where marine whey is replacing a fraction of egg, but also some of the functional proteins. Some of this industrial cake mixes will contain WPC, whey protein concentrate, and marine whey is complemented that ingredient. I would say the third and last one, in terms of 3 applications, would be ready to mix protein powders. So there it could be either presented as a blend with other source of plant proteins, or in its own as a product that you can scoop into a meal, or just to reinforce the protein profile of whatever you're cooking or preparing.
Yeah, lots of flexibility there. You mentioned affordability. That's a big part of this project. What does affordable actually really mean here? Are you able to give a target end price per, say, 10 grams of protein in US dollars, and walk us through the main levers that make that achievable?
Our vision, and we have confidence that we can achieve there through our techno-economical model, is to produce marine whey at a third of the cost that it costs to produce dairy whey. We want to be 3 times cheaper than dairy. And that allows for 2 things. It allows us to go to market with a product that's more affordable than the incumbent, but it creates room for a healthy margin so that we can partner with bridge to market partners that allow us to make this possible and reach the populations that we want to reach. So our goal is 3 times cheaper than dairy protein.
And we're going to talk to Norman now about the packaging and shelf life. On that packaging side, which aseptic formats fit best at launch? For example, small cartons versus spouted pouches, and what sizes are you prioritizing, Norman?
So yeah, good question indeed. I mean, our aseptic packaging solutions basically offer, in general, a long shelf life without the need of refrigeration and preservatives, right? So this is the key thing first and foremost. And with the flexibility that we have and the portfolio that we have, we are thinking indeed, as you said, for smaller carton versions and aseptic pouch versions, where of course the use case is actually very dependent on the market. But both of those applications, we see the first ones where the need is needed, or the use is needed, and while pouches are mainly filling more viscous products, more squeezable products, nutritious products, cartons could potentially be more for products that are more liquid, right? I think that makes sense. So when you ask about the shelf life, in our packs, we are gearing up to a shelf life of 12 months, usually, an average. For the small packs, in and around 200 ml, let's say, and 250, but also smaller, bigger versions are possible, right? And so that's what we see. We would.
And thinking about tough operating environments, what ambient shelf life can you guarantee in hot climates without relying on a cold chain? And what testing underpins that claim?
So the 12 months that I just was mentioning, that is actually regardless of climate conditions achieved by the structures that we have developed with our proven aseptic technology systems, which combine an ultra clean filling environment, sterilized packaging materials, and an hermetic sealing, and of course through extensive validation of our systems and productions with our customer, we are guaranteeing this together with our customers. No preservatives are needed or no cold chains are needed, as I said before.
And where will your first pilot and then commercial fills run? And what do the initial line capacities and changeover times look like?
So, I mean, for us, as Federico said, we are now doing the first runs and pilot test runs and validations that are actually ongoing as we speak. But it's too early to say when it will now go to commercial production then with the first customers. But we can start the process now, right? And from the capacity point of view, from a packaging side, there is no capacity constraints. And we would now do it then in partnership together with our partner here, NXW, and the customers that potentially come up. We could then scale it as needed.
Mhm. And beyond hardware, speed to scale, that often depends on partners. So how will SIG support local manufacturers or public programs in terms of line readiness or operator training, on-site service, etc., so you can move quickly from trial to full rollout?
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what we are expert in, actually. I mean, we have a global service footprint with field engineers and technical experts always located close to our customers, actually, in the relevant markets. And we do provide a full end-to-end support, including commissioning, line commissioning, operator quality training, etc., and have a 24/7 technical support. I mean, with the service of our pilot plant production and test fillings, plus the installation there with our service teams, we can go quite quickly.
Mhm. Another challenge is sustainability in packaging. So how are you balancing barrier performance with end-of-life realities in early markets, whether that's from materials to recyclability or even collection pathways?
Yeah, that's of course a very big question these days, especially, and becomes even more important, right? So SIG continuously innovates to combine high barrier performance with responsible end-of-life solutions. Our carton packs, for instance, are primarily made from renewable paperboard material with a very thin layer of thin protection layers, and with that we really achieve the high quality and shelf life standards that I just mentioned. We are investing into mono material structures across our portfolios. We are working a lot on improving recyclability even further. And of course, with the local markets on collection infrastructure, with new partnerships that we're doing there, just like announced last week in Egypt, for example. So in early markets, we collaborate with local recyclers, NGOs, industrial alliances to build exactly those scalable collection and recycling pathways.
Mhm. Let's talk about that path to market in more detail. If we map the road from pilot to launch, what are the critical path steps that remain, Federico, whether that's stability or sensory validation, regulatory clearance? Are probably less of a concern for this product. And who between SIG and NXW Nutrition from Water is leading each work stream?
Yeah, I think we should not forget the third leg to the stool, right? And are the customers. SIG plays on the packaging space, we play on the ingredient side, but it is also critical to mention the customers that are going to kind of like close that loop, right? How we see our role in this market. We are proponents of a novel ingredient, of a novel source of protein. Putting this protein in the hand of customers, of CPGs, is more akin of selling to them innovation than a commoditized solution. So what we need to do is work hand in hand with them to help them think about how this new ingredients solve their business challenges, whether they're related to affordability, sustainability, or product innovation, and how can we solve those problems through helping them formulate with our ingredients into their brands and solutions. So that's a lot of the work that happens here. What this partnership is powerful is we can come forth to customers in the global south and say, hey, there's a protein that you can use to achieve this business goals. There's an aseptic packaging solution that you can use in order to solve this business. If we work together with your leadership on the market, on the route to market, we can achieve this impact. And that's what I am personally excited about from this partnership.
Mhm. Norman, did you have anything to add there?
Yeah, exactly. And with this partnership and this approach that Federico just mentioned, we can leverage also the innovation center that we have, that we can use and customers can use, which support exactly this product development efforts, the innovation testing, and also first-hand learning them, of course, with the customers and also then for their consumers. So those critical steps we can support them with.
Mhm. Federico, you mentioned sustainability before. On that front, what headline metrics are you able to share about the product, whether that's GHG emissions or water use, land footprint, and which of those are already third-party verified versus still in progress, shall we say?
Yeah, we estimate that our carbon footprint to produce marine whey is roughly 20 times lower than producing the same amount of protein from animals, from cows. I put this into perspective. In our current pilot plant in Portugal, we have two 5 cubic meter fermenters. And those 5 cubic meter fermenters, in a period of 3 days, we're able to produce roughly 1 metric ton of protein in 3 days. If you think about how much time it would take you to produce that much protein with cows, and how many cows you would need, and how much fuel you would need, and how much water do you need to run this cow, so it doesn't take 3 days to do that. So from an environmental perspective, I have really zero doubt that not just our solution, but biomass fermentation in general is going to become a critical part of how we make foods.
Mm-hmm. Of course, ingredient safety, that's another key expectation at Scouts. How do you manage testing for contaminants, set release criteria, ensure full batch traceability?
Yeah, our first customer is in Japan, a market who's notoriously known for caring about those things quite importantly. We're at the beginning of this journey, right? We're producing out of our pilot plant in Portugal, which is certified by external auditors. Our customers play a significant role in ensuring that what we're bringing to market is also safe and has been tested. So we rely both on our partners from a production side, but also on our customers to make sure that what we're putting in the hands of consumers is safe and is being approved by the highest standards.
Mm-hmm. Norman, this is a bit off topic, but from a packaging perspective, how do aseptic controls help reduce spoilage and food waste?
I mean, SIG's technology, aseptic technology, packaging technology eliminates the need for refrigeration and the use of preservatives and protecting the product from spoilage for, as I said, for up to 12 months at ambient temperatures. And this is particularly impactful in low infrastructure environments, right, where cold chain interruptions are, of course, common. And by extending shelf life and ensuring safety throughout the distribution, waste is minimized and food security is improved, even in more remote regions. So that's how we can support there.
Mm-hmm. And on the consumer-facing side, Federico, what's the branding strategy at launch? Will we see Marine Way on pack, or is it going to be private label for institutions or co-branding with local partners?
Yeah, great question. I would say it depends highly on the markets that we're looking into, right? And their comfort with this emerging category of ocean organics. So if we think about Japan for a second, Japan has a history of consumption of ocean organics. Microalgae is part of the nutraceutical repertoire. Macroalgae is part of their regular diet. So in Japan, with our partners, we've realized that Marine Way on pack would be a strong claim. So in Japan, markets like Japan, we're going front of pack. Now, we have ongoing conversations with other players in markets like India, for example, where we actually think that Marine Way can have a back of the pack role to play. Maybe it does not need to be part of the value proposition front of pack, but we could, just like Carrageenan has been on the back of pack of most of our ingredients, an ingredient that comes from seaweed, how can we have a back of pack strategy for Marine Way as well? So there's a lot of nuance depending on the value proposition. We certainly want to create awareness about consumer awareness about the importance of the ocean organics and Marine Way category from a consumer facing, but we don't have the pretension to want to educate everyone around Marine Way. We want to be pragmatic partners to our customers, and we know that for some of them, a front of pack a claim will be value adding. For some of them, a back of pack strategy will be more adapted.
Mm-hmm. To wrap up, this is a question for both of you, I guess. Are you able to share the milestones that you're aiming for over the next 12 months? And maybe paint a picture for us of a 3-year success plan. I mean, how many people are fed daily, for instance? What's the cost per serving? And how many countries do you see Marine Way making a real impact? Lots of questions there. Federico, do you want to go first?
Well, I can start. I mean, I like looking at the next 5 years. We know and we believe there's 100,000 metric tons of demand for Marine Way, and that's just a fraction of what today is sold in WPC or in pea or in rice proteins. So 100,000 metric tons 5 years from now is kind of like where we set the goal.
Mhm.
But I'm also razor focused about the steps that we need to take in order to get there. I'm very excited about this announcement today. I'm very excited about what we are going to be able to showcase with our first pilot in Dubai during Gulf Food. I am very excited by potential tech transfers that we can be doing next year in order to increase our capacity. So I personally, as a leader, like to have a North Star that's clear. But I think that the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in what we're going to do this month, the next month, and the month after. And I think our industry, our category of novel ingredients, sometimes has suffered of chronic over-promising and under-delivering. And I want to stay cautious about each step that we make in the short term, because that's what's going to build confidence. That's what's going to build confidence with corporates like SIG, but also with their own customers. So we need to be really careful about how those milestones stack up.
And Norman, final word to you.
No, exactly. And I think that's a very healthy approach, right? And there we are there and ready to help in a team to do then pilot testing, validation, stability testing in leveraging our test centers, for example, in Dubai we start first with. And validating those products in a healthy way, right? But indeed are then able to ramp up as the need is there, and then for sure we'll discuss with the one or the other potential customer or interest in the world. I mean, we will for sure be together now on the road here and there in certain events, certain shows, and reach out to potential interested customer groups to address or to promote this solution that we all believe quite big, largely in, and want to get then a sense of the market, and then let's see how we can move on.
Look, Federico, Norman, thank you very much for taking the time out to talk with us. It's exciting to hear how Marine Way is coming to life, and we wish you the very best as you take it from idea to impact. We'll be cheering you on. Look forward to seeing you soon.
Thanks a lot.
Take care.